I'm John GRAFFT, and I love Chicago real estate. Between showings, I stop in my favorite places, talk with local business owners, and bring their story to you. This is my Chicago.
How are you guys? How's business?
Good. All depends on part of the market. Which you're interested in. What do you want to know?
No, I don't know. I found something, well, I'm on camera here. You got me mic'd up. I found nothing. I'm just teasing.
Well, what we were talking about last week, did you find something?
I like the price. The location is maybe questionable, but at the end of the day, what I'm talking about doing is kind of it's perhaps, and this is audacious maybe, but it's perhaps a location unto itself. These really big pockets, which a lot of my sport coats have, which is kind of consistent with like a French worker jacket, right? So I like to tell people that
It's so warm, probably.
Well, this is from autumn, winter, to be honest with you, but Chicagoans in the winter had such a problem with the color that now that it's summer, it's doing well, even though this is totally not the fabric for right now. Like today in the shade, you'd be fine in this, but
it's 50 to 60 degree weather outside. That's perfect.
Yeah, which in the shade today, it kind of feels like that anyway.
Yeah.
And then like the designer in Denmark, she just kind of messes with you in all sorts of ways, because it's like I have this suit with the long pants, right? But on a day like today, I just go with the shorts.
I think this is cool.
It's cool, right? It's kind of how I used to dress when I was like 5 years old.
So when there's no cut, what is it? Because there's no slit in the back.
It's a box.
That's
That's a box cut.
Okay.
I think that's what I would call it. But I'm still learning, man. I mean, there's clients and people that come in here, and John, who works for me now, that teach me so much about garments. But I'd call that box cut, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe somebody else calls it something different, and then it depends on the country you're from.
I have no idea.
Some people would call it something
I know
different.
the single cut is Italian and the double cut is English, and that's as far as my knowledge goes. When it comes to the technical stuff, I'm not really there. I just know what I like aesthetically, and I'm learning a lot about fabric. Like I'm trying to bounce bad fabric out of here. Not that I ever carried it a whole lot, but What's bad fabric?
lots of poly. I mean, there's sometimes a reason for polyester, like
Stretch.
it expands the waist or in the back. But when something, when something's just primarily polyester, first the environmentalists are upset about it, but also it's just
What's wrong with polyester?
It's
For the
oil.
environment.
It's oil. Polyester is oil, essentially. It's a synthetic plastic. But beyond that, it's just not like one of these, like this is black hemp here, right? Or like Japanese or Italian cotton. It's like polyester is just not, it's not an old world fabric.
It's synthetic.
Like when did oil come around? The 1800s or something? Whereas some of this other stuff, it's a super high quality fabric. But all of the designers will use poly or viscose to accomplish something.
I feel you see a lot of
technical.
it now for that stretch factor.
Yeah. Well, like an elastic waist is nice, because if you're going to spend a bunch of money on suiting and then you go to a steakhouse 3 times in a week and you don't fit in it anymore, that doesn't feel good.
There's nothing worse than a custom suit that doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah, these guys need help back here.
I don't know.
Well, I tell you, that's what's interesting, right? Like I'm off the rack in here. I'm not. I think what's hot right now is real popular is like custom suiting. But in some ways, my stuff's interesting because off the rack allows for you to have like a tough winter where you put a little weight on, and then a summer where you bounce back and forth. Because like even I've got cotton denim, which is that's a funny thing to say. But this Italian kind of mix between a chino and a jean, and the waist is very forgiving, even though it's Italian tailored. So I could talk about this sometime. Well, they call these jeans, but it's just cotton here. This is my stuff from Prato, and it's really tapered. Oh, hey, how are you? Welcome. Come on in. No, I've got ladies denim like you wouldn't believe. This is really, it'll rest just above, and very, very tight at the ankle. And they call these jeans, but because the Italians, they don't really do jeans ever.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a mix between a chino and a jean.
I got you.
Anyway, because
This
good
isn't-
luck. You get some
it's
young
not quite
kids.
denim, but
You
it is.
get some young kids in Italy running around on motorbikes in jeans, but primarily like adult men. Yeah, you're not going to see them a whole lot in denim.
Yeah.
I'm for the record. For the record, because I met the guy. One thing that I've noticed is just how incredibly supportive this neighborhood is. Now, I did a lot of the right things because I joined the merchants and residents group there.
Yeah.
But like Glenn's Tavern, the folks that run that came in here, and I certainly don't know one iota compared to them. But we do some drinking in here. It's a good way to get folks to stick around and relax a little bit. A lot of guys, they think that they don't want to try clothes on. Really, we all do. But offering either some sparkly water or a little drink is a good way to get people going. And
I think it's really hospitable.
well, that's the other thing. Oh, thank you. That's the other thing that we're trying to do. And thank you. Hey, thanks for coming back out.
Absolutely. But I think you're absolutely right. If you can get a drink in someone's hand, it makes them feel comfortable. Because if you can have someone doing whatever they do when they're not here, like if they're at home, in a bar, or whatever they're doing, if you can have them do it here, they'll feel a little comfortable. Because they're already used to the comfort that comes with drinking. And now they're in a new foreign place. And that's the funny thing, right? Everyone's a little on edge or a little on guard when they walk into somewhere they've never been before.
Yeah.
And especially here or anywhere. But when people are selling you something, you're like, oh, just calm down.
Yeah.
But you're really good. It was really fun watching you with that couple because you're just trying to help. There was no salesmanship.
But first of all, two things. I've gotten to a point where very quickly here, the numbers are indicative that I don't need to be pushy with sales. I'm not desperate whatsoever. And the second thing is I really just want to hang out with people. I've started telling people I've got a little shtick going, and it works with some, it doesn't work with others, that just try this stuff on. Try it all on, and then come back another day if you like. I had a guy from the neighborhood here who tried every pair of pants I have a lot of pair of pants, and he tried every different style on, different fabrics, different cuts, different countries that the stuff has come from, and then after 2 hours, he settled on some, and he came back a couple days later, and he bought a whole bag of the stuff, and that's what we're all about. I love trying clothes on with people.
I don't think anyone who comes here settles on anything. I think if you come here, you're really invested in what you're buying. Mm-hmm. Right? You might land on something. I always think about words. So you have so many unique things that I don't know where else you would go for anything like this. And that was what gravitated me towards here. I saw it, I was like, this is interesting. And the sign grabbed my attention right off the bat as soon as you grabbed the space and started working on it. But you come in here, and every time I'm in here, there's something different I see. And I still feel like, it's like walking the streets of Chicago where you're like, oh, that's a building I never noticed before. Or did you see that one up there, that unit? And the store is the same way. How often are you turning over this inventory?
Well, I thought that maybe I would be done for the summer, but now I'm bringing a bunch of stuff in because I just need it and people are asking for it. And that might just be accessories at this point. Like I've got some huaraches from Mexico coming. It's like a leather woven shoe that's very popular right now. You can either do an open toe sandal with no back for women, or the guys have like a loafer looking, but it's strips of leather, right? And it's a Mexican shoe that
Anyone we could see?
Not here. It's coming in July. It'll drop in July, and I'll have those in like 43, 44, 45. So 9, 10 US, 11, 12, and some 13. I've gotten big requests from the guys here in town and my out-of-town clients. Please bring in the 13s, because in Europe, maybe in Germany, and some of the Nordic countries, but in Italy, they don't make a whole lot of 13, and here in the States, a lot of guys need a 13.
Anything above a 12 in Asia is hard to get. I was trying to get some shoes when I was in Asia. It was very hard to do.
Well, probably you just have to have them custom made, and then you're talking time and money.
Yeah, very specific.
I've got a friend that did some shopping for suits in Korea, but he was there for an extended period of time, so he could have them custom made.
Was he happy with the result?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean they're artisan there. That's here on the street of Wells. A lot of the dry clean. Well, a lot of the dry cleaners here are Korean. They've been there forever, and I only say that to say that they're. It's my understanding that there's a lot of people in Korea that work with garments and fabrics. We might not have them dropped in mass like some other countries, but that's another thing that I'm learning about is. All the sourcing of fabrics and tariffs and the different ways that designers work and everything. It's been fun since I opened in January to just grow.
I had a Korean client, and kind of her side thing, when she was trying to get off the ground, was a clothing line.
Mm-hmm.
And she could get that from anywhere in the world. She was sourcing fabric and sourcing manufacturing everywhere. She still landed on Korea. I mean, maybe because she speaks the native tongue, maybe because it was easier for her. But her point was, great prices, great manufacturing, great access to everything being in Korea, because it's somewhat, it's not central, but it has easy access to everything around it. And she liked that experience. And the stuff looked good. And you see Korean fashion that holds in Chicago. I think it holds with a lot of Korean people, but you can tell Korean fashion when you see it.
Yeah, I don't have any Korean stuff here yet. I've seen some Irish guys online that are carrying some work jackets from Korea. And it's interesting you should say that she had a Korean background and then stuck with it. Like for me, the Italian stuff can actually be rather difficult because the Danes and the Germans and some others maybe have a higher proficiency in English and provide maybe more American-ready invoicing. But because of my background and having Italian citizenship and knowing the quality of some Italian garments, I seem to keep going back to them, even though it's not always the easiest thing from a business perspective.
What's your background?
Law, real estate, acting, enjoying life.
You said Italian.
My grandparents came, on my ma's side, came to Chicago in the late 1950s. And my grandmother's father, Tarcísio, would have been on Wells, but much further south.
No way. Was that part of this? Was that?
Well, no, I don't know what's part of what, but no, I mean they had an Italian grocer. Well, it's probably part of it in the sense that like I have a home around the corner or whatever, but okay, a lot of people put this building and this sidewalk as a hard category. So many people come in here, oh, I've lived in the area for 20 years and this is a quiet stretch and it's difficult, good luck. But I thought to myself, my gosh, why is this empty? It shouldn't be. There's no men's clothing, and I started just men's clothing, and then all the ladies of the neighborhood, as I say, started asking, well, where's the women's? And eventually our goal is to be 50-50.
What about the kids?
Women's, men's.
I
do the kids. I sell tons of kids stuff. Even though it's difficult because, you can go to Target and get a similar looking dress that'll irritate the shit out of your kid's skin for half the price, and my stuff is very regal. The problem with the kids stuff, and I don't know how long I'll carry it, the tariffs are extremely high on the children's clothing well, here's why. I presume there's no children in Congress. No, I'm dead serious. So a men's sport, this is what I've noticed since I've started importing the stuff, right? There's barely any tariff on a man's sport coat. Like 8-9%. You get into a women's dress and we're already talking mid-teens for sure, unless you're fudging the numbers, and I don't want to do that. I'm not messing with Uncle Sam. You get into the little girls' dresses, which are adorable. I'm sometimes paying 20%. Really? And now on top of the fact that a lot of Americans don't dress their kids that well. So the children's category is very hard. And I had a French... No voice. They got no voice. Right. Oh, no one's got a voice. Right? But I had a French client. I love the Europeans. And because we're here close to Lincoln Park, I could chuck a baseball into Lincoln Park, right? Because we're here by Lincoln Park and all this stuff, I get a lot of European clientele. And one gal who's shopped all over France and is French told me, you're biting off a lot here with the men's, the women's, and the children's. This is 1,400 square feet of department store. Right?
Yeah.
It's a lot.
You're one section. Usually it's dedicated to one brand.
Well, yeah, some people. Well, that's the thing. People ask me when I was first opening, well, what's your brand that you're opening? And it's a boutique. It's a curated collection of brands. I don't make any of it. Maybe one day. But now we got somebody. I want to make sure that they're taken care of too. John's phenomenal. John's lived in Old Town since 1976. He was a commercial designer. He worked in the Mart when the Mart was the Mart. Yeah. And he also did some commercial designing in the Monadnock building, which is my favorite building in Chicago. It was the first skyscraper. You wouldn't consider it a skyscraper. It's all brick, I believe. Look, I'm not an architect like most of the people in this neighborhood, but the Monadnock building, from my understanding, was the first tower in Chicago.
That's over right on.
It's on Federal and something.
So that
𝗕𝗢𝗢𝗢𝗡𝗢 is in there, and that guy I respect the hell out of.
Yeah, that's where he's at.
I'm going to go in there and get a hat soon.
The largest all-brick skyscraper, I think, in the United States. It's all
sure.
brick.
Who's going to do that again? Good luck getting a brick and the guys to work on it.
Those hats are ridiculous, and there's this custom shoe place.
I think they're north of 1,000, but my God, this blew away once on a windy day. But because it's windy here in Chicago. But the thing is, when you invest in a piece and then you have it forever, like a lot of my Hanson garments in particular, I joke with people, and maybe it's a little morbid, your kids should fight over this stuff when you die. Yeah. I'd be really ticked if I was gone 6 feet under and this stuff just ended up in a thrift store. Although that'd be a great find.
Look at the life cycle of things. You're right, because something 50 years later is worth more than whenever you purchased it.
Well, so here's the funny part, John, if you really want to get into business, right? This stuff in particular, right? Because I think the last time we spoke before, like when I was just opening and we were still masked and everything, you were saying, well, what do you do with the stuff when it doesn't sell in the season? A lot of this stuff I mark down. The Hanson I never mark down. And in Europe, there's people that actually put this in archival system, right?
What's that?
I don't like archives.
Oh, archives, okay.
Yeah, like I say archives. I keep messing that up. Archives. And I'll probably roll this into a capsule collection where the stuff that doesn't sell, I'm going to hold over, and some of it I mark up. Like I was able to obtain a blue 𝗕𝗢𝗢𝗢𝗢 jacket, and I think it's maybe the only one in the U.S., and I'm actually marking it up from $4.15 to $5.15 because it's the only one, and I love it. I've got it hanging on the bar up there, but we're going to stay open till 7 tonight, I think. Hopefully my wife's not upset.
The weather's nice.
It's beautiful. Well, that's the funny thing about retail is you never know. You never know.
Somebody just walk in.
Well, no, I just mean there's some Tuesdays that are popping off crazy, and then you can't let it get to you. I was in this box, man, from a couple days after Biden was put in January till now, and now thankfully I've built a little bit of a team. We've got John who knows a lot about fabrics, and then I've got Diego that I brought over from the Thai bar on Armitage, and he's great at styling, particularly for women. He brings a certain aspect that although I'm learning from him quickly, nothing pleases me more than when a lady has a dress work for her and it's a winner. There's something special about that. A guy gets in a sport coat and it works. Okay, great, fine. I love when we've been able to help a lady land in a girl land in what she needs and what she was seeking.
Why is that more satisfying than a man?
I can't quite put a finger on it yet. When I first started bringing women's clothes in, I was saying ridiculous things like, I don't know what I'm doing, I can't wear women's clothes, so good luck. But I've learned from watching women try clothes on, there's the cut, there's the length, there's the pattern, there's the fabric. I'm not afraid of it anymore, because you want to be respectful when a lady's trying something on.
Imagine it's a fine line.
It's a fine line, but I've found the line, and I've gotten quite good. I want to be respectful.
You did that a long time ago.
So
you need to
I want what? Yeah, no, I got to get old though too.
That's how you're walking, right?
Well, yeah, sometimes I got 2 spots. We'll go one more time, and then I
you
promise.
You Kenilworth, or you coming?
Yeah, I'm going up there. Yeah, I got the 11-day-old baby going. So
what's that like running this? You just opened this business.
My wife's a sweetheart. That's what it's like.
She's very sweet.
Yeah, no, she's a sweetheart. She's a consummate mother. She's originally.
How do you have a kid and open a business in the same year? That seems unreal.
Well, I don't want my kids to see me sitting around. It's like I like to do the acting stuff and everything, but there's a lot of sitting around where you're twiddling your thumbs going, okay, what's next? And so we did this, and I get to act a little bit inside of a box because it's like I get out-of-towners and I get Chicago characters, and then we just get to do this. But none of it's fake for me. A lot of people think of acting as like playing pretend or being fake or whatever, but like you were in here and the kids getting married. And at first they didn't reveal this. They just needed a suit for the weekend coming or whatever. But I authentically just want to hook him up. It's not going to make me or break me. If that, whoops, we lost the poster. We knew we would. We got to get that nailed to the wall somehow. That comes from John's home, actually.
Oh, yeah? He brought this
Yeah, and I told him, I said, John, I'm not responsible if anything happens to this thing. John's got great taste. John was pestering. Yeah, well, we've got like dust now. This sofa shows a lot of dust because it's super black. That's where I can be.
I would have noticed unless you pointed it out.
Well, I'm a real perfectionist, let me tell you. I really am. At times.
So what box? No one wants to be put in a box, but you mentioned acting, law, real estate. You have this shop here. What are you?
I'm a lover of culture and people, and I want to not just observe it, but participate in it.
I think you're doing more than that. I think you're leading it right here in this neighborhood.
Well, I don't want to be. I don't want to be audacious. No. Here we go. We got. Is this one of our friends, Andy? Yes. Yay! Sweet. I have a lot more women's now. I don't know if I'm a leader. A lot of people said I've got family and friends that were like, you're gonna open a clothing store in Chicago. Good luck. Like, they're like Chicagoans don't really, because we've got some nasty seasons, right? There's some times where you don't want to
dress here.
You don't want to wear stuff. It's hard to get guys venturing out into clothes because there's some season, and that's where the Danish stuff actually hooked me up, because it's like it's good for this and I've got a Scottish menswear line that is super, super hot right now. I don't even want to say their name. They were just featured in Monocle magazine, and thank goodness they were cool enough to let me carry them next winter, and that's going to blow Chicago's socks off when I bring that in here. I mean, teal and but it's performance wear too. Like, we don't know where we're at with everyone. When I was opening was like, are we dressing up or are we dressing down? People are sick of sweatpants, but they also don't want to be in full suiting. And like, some of what I've brought, is this, what is it? Is it dressed up and formal? I tell people, like with the Hanson, right? I'm in the shorts, and this is suiting. I have this in long pants, and I have it in shorts, and then the top. And I tell people with Hanson, you're wearing pajamas in terms of the way it feels and the way it lays, but you're in some of the finest garments in Chicago. There is not a steakhouse in the city that can't take me in what I'm wearing right now, but I feel like I'm in pajamas. Done. Ready, set, go.
What you're wearing, I saw it over there. What's the price tag on this?
So the shorts are gonna be $260, and I got the tag still on this one. This one's not mine.
Let's see what you got.
$490.
$490. Okay.
I'll tell you why, though. It's Italian fabric, made in Europe thereafter. It's a herringbone pattern. She spends houndstooth, probably this one. I was talking herringbone earlier on a different one, that blue over there. That's where I got hung up. You're right, it's houndstooth.
I'm discerning eye.
Apparently, I got to get you in more of this stuff. You're very lean, though.
You just looked at me in my shirt like, what are you wearing right now?
No, I didn't. You look great all the time. And for the record, so the reason I'm wearing all this, and I do wear all this all the time, but earlier I had on a pair of pants from a collection that I don't carry yet, but I'll carry next winter. I had a mandarin collared, like linen, cotton, long sleeve button up.
So what's up with the dyes? Why are the dyes different?
Well, they're spending a little more money on. I don't know if the word's organic. I haven't figured it out completely. Like I had a children's line from Switzerland, and they have a home in Denmark, and the dyes just popped so much. And I think it's because it's handcrafted garments. I think when you have a lot of, not a lot, like a mass quantity, but a lot of dyes for mass production, like we're the Gap, like we're the Gap, we're gonna dye 200,000 shirts. I think that dye is different than the dyes that I have in here, where it's small batch work. I mean, a lot of my stuff, in another month, you won't be able to find it anymore. That's like why I'm marking up some of my Hanson stuff.
So once a lot made, it's manufactured, it's sold, and it's gone. You won't see that.
I have a lot of slow fashion stuff in here.
What does that mean, slow fashion?
Just a couple thousand garments. Just a couple thousand garments out there in the world. Okay. They're going to repeat it again in the winter, but it'll be slightly different. So that's why I'm talking about the archival system, because I thought to myself, well, there's a store in Stuttgart, Germany that carries Hanson garments, and it's similar to me in some ways. And I wanted to Google, what do they do with their leftover Johnnies that haven't sold? And I thought, oh, maybe a Johnny is my summer shirt, short sleeve, button up, kind of 1950s collared shirt. I've got it in white, either a fancy Dobie weave or a lighter knit, and then I've got it in aqua and gold. But I wanted to see, what did people do with it in the past? I think I'm going to sell mine by the end of August. They'll be gone.
What's a Johnny?
This is a Johnny. This is a Johnny, and it's gold.
It's like a summer shirt. Like a
it goes 195. There's no plastic in the buttons.
So what are they? Mother of pearl or what?
Yeah, it's some sort of bone.
Okay, bone.
Could be. I don't know exactly. I really don't. I know she doesn't use plastic.
Okay.
She actually told me when I was on the call with her, the designer. She told me it's actually more likely that the button might break, and it's a travesty when it does, but she wouldn't dare put plastic on the fabric. Okay. A lot of the time it's either Italian or Japanese cotton. So this is a Johnny, and I'll sell through these by August. I'm not worried about it. But so anyway, when I looked up what the guy in Stuttgart, Germany does with these if he hasn't sold them, and I thought, oh, maybe he's got them discounted now from a prior season, he marks them up. You can't get them anymore.
Because they're gone.
They're gone.
Yeah.
So I'll mark them up. And this is Adobe. This is Adobe weave. So it's thicker. Weave? Well, this is it. I mean, I'm figuring it out as we go here.
Okay, so it's this kind of pattern.
It's thicker. You see how you touch that, right, and the weaving is like there's like a height to it, a thickness to it, if you will. Compared to this,
there's a lot of patterns in here.
Yeah.
That's cool.
There's a lot, and these are probably made in Eastern Europe. It's old world stuff. And then I've got the aqua. So those are the 4 Johnnies that I have.
This color a lot.
Yeah.
This is cool because you can't. Name
Summer, right?
Yeah.
Summer.
Yeah.
For me, the gold probably doesn't work with my coloring, but I've got an aqua, and I've got at least one white at home. You should see my closet at home.
I can't imagine.
Well, coloring's important. Like a gold Johnny on like African American guy, a black guy, look stunning.
Okay.
Coloring matters, right? Do you have blue eyes? Do you have brown eyes? Do you have red hair? And anybody can wear whatever they want. I'm not going to tell a guy what to wear.
Something pops or it doesn't.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you, there was a guy, he went to Fleet Feet, which I'm so thankful that these other stores exist in my area here. He went to Fleet Feet and he had no idea I was going to be here, and he was going down to Cabo to renew his vows.
That's a Cabo shirt.
Yeah, and he was a real dark complexioned guy, and this popped on him like it could never pop on me. So that's what I mean about coloring, and there's a respectful way to talk about that. But, it is what it is. Coloring's a thing. This is an indigo shirt, and as she warned me, you got like a white leather car or a white leather sofa at home. At first, you don't want to sit down in this. It will rub off. That's how indigo goes. So this indigo comes from Japan.
Okay.
And when we talk about dye, right, this is an indigo dye.
I see Italy.
Yeah. Well, the cotton might be from Italy, but I guarantee you that they used indigo from Japan in the dyeing process. I'm not sure that indigo comes from elsewhere other than Japan. Somebody would have to Google that.
Indigo is a color.
It's a plant that then becomes a color.
I didn't know that.
Apparently. That's what I've learned since doing all
I love
this.
how you're learning this the whole way.
Well, I mean, you can't know it all. I didn't go to fashion school. I like to shop.
And it's more genuine because you have it. Because you don't have this air of righteousness about.
Well, no, who wants to do that? I mean, I'm accessible to everybody. No, no, I don't. I'm not. I don't even know what that place is anymore. But even the boutique, even the boutique spots, it's like, I've got a gal from the UK next winter, and I'm gonna retail her dresses $1,200, $1,400, $1,600, right? A very high price point. But I don't care who you are. If you want to come in here and try it on and experience it, I tell everybody, come on in, try it on.
People want options. No matter what they're doing, you can have something that's very approachable, you can have something that's outside of people's limits, but people want to be pushed on their limits sometimes. And you want to go to a place where you can see both. You can see all ends of the spectrum from beginning to end.
Yeah, no, I think I want to be there for everybody. We've got some sport coats here that are really accessible price point. Did any of those work out for you? I'm sorry I haven't been more help.
All of this is custom built, right?
It's custom built, but between you and I, it can be extracted should I choose to leave this location. But I think it works well here.
So the rail up above.
Yeah, I can slide on that thing.
It's cool. We got to get that before we go.
No, I don't. I've had a little bit to drink here. I mean, I can climb. I can definitely climb up here and do some playing around, but I don't do it often. Employees aren't supposed to.
I want to move the rug, and I want to go from one end to the other.
You certainly can do that. You get kind of caught. You sort of get caught in the middle. You have to grab like a shelf and keep going. But yeah, with the rug, and I love that rug, but with the rug, you get caught.
I think with a jump start, you can go from one end to the other.
Well, there was one time. It was one of the first weekends we had a live musician in here, and I had this gal rollerblade in from one of the western neighborhoods, and I was so excited that somebody from west of 9094 was coming. It was like Logan Square or something hip like that, and she was asking me for all these shoe sizes, and I kept running up and down the ladder, and the music was playing. It was an absolute blast. Yeah.
So why'd you do this?
It's a loaded question, right? Yeah. I want to show my kids that it's important to do something, and I feel a part of the community. I mean, ever since I bought a place in Old Town, my family, my wife and kids and I, ever since we got a place, I felt this is an easy neighborhood to feel a part of, right? And that's part of why you invest in this neighborhood. But this was empty, and the next door was empty, and now those guys are coming in, and I'm so thrilled about that. But this shouldn't have been emptied. And a lot of people come in and they tell me, oh, I ran food in here for 20 years, or I ran a clothing store for a couple years and it didn't work out, and it's a challenging spot because it's very high-end boutique. I didn't think this should be empty. That's why I did it. And we're having fun. We're trying to have fun.
This category, the clothing, you were able to bring things to Chicago that weren't already here. I think you're bringing things here that people don't normally wear in a good way.
Yeah, it is different. It is different than...
You're bringing fashion to the neighborhood that someone would expect. I thought your example back there of saying something that was in New York, like I've seen shops like this in Soho, and that's where you would expect to see something like this, to see it on
the highest compliment I got was a young gal came in here with her mom, and she was filming a Netflix show, because don't you forget it, they film a lot of stuff here in Chicago.
Well, you know why?
But
it's cheap.
well, whatever the reason may be, there's a lot of great art being made here. But she was from Manhattan, her and her ma, and they said, this reminds us of the Upper West Side. Whether it's Upper West Side or Soho, whatever, it thrilled me that a New Yorker had complimentary things to say. So that's where I'm at with it. You know, sometimes your metrics are gauging numbers, or how did we do compared to last month, and then sometimes you get like somebody from New York who says, this is like a boutique in Manhattan, and I go... feel pretty good about that.
I feel the same way.
You
don't always tell the full story.
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's only month 6 for me, or 5.
You're creating something, so you can't create something in such a short period of time and then judge it. It has to be, I don't even know if you should judge it. It has to be looked at over a larger eclipse over everything you're doing, because you're building. Every month takes into account the month before it, and then you have seasonality, and then you have COVID and everything else.
Well, seasonality, forget about it. I'm closing for 2 weeks in February. I love that aspect of it, of like, I was a part of the neighborhood and the community before I did this, but a huge reason that I'm here is I know if I wanted to try to email or text blast some sort of guys' night of people from different industries and hang out, man, I could put together a pretty sweet shindig in that regard. Architects, engineers, actors, artists, world travelers that are retired. I put all those guys together in a room, and we've got a microcosm of what Chicago has to offer. That's the other thing that I love about it, is how what I've done here has brought so many people together, even if they don't know that they're together yet.
Yeah, there can be a lot more connectivity in a neighborhood like this, because a lot of people are bifurcated in their own areas, and they're segmented in their parts of life, but fashion or clothing brings them all together.
Well, we all put it on every day, right?
Exactly. I always laugh, like realtors that walk into homes and just like, here's the kitchen, here's the, like we grew up in homes our entire life, and you want to give us a tour. Like, just let us take the tour.
Yeah.
But with clothing, we put this on every day of our life, and you are given the tour, and you're doing it well. And I think that's something that exemplifies someone who's good in their trade or not. You could be a realtor, you could be a merchant, doesn't matter. If you're showing someone what's different about what they're doing, or bringing light to something they may have not seen, or seeing in a different light, then you're good at what you do.
Yeah. Well,
and just being here has totally demonstrated that.
Yeah, we're changing this stretch a little bit. And maybe I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but when I hit the mark, people are having a really good time with it.
You don't want to be everyone's cup of tea.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
If you target that, you'll target nothing.
Yeah, it's impossible. So we're happy with what we're doing here.
So we got to run. I'm looking at your watch as we go, and I got to be somewhere in 10 minutes. So
I had fun.
I had fun too. So
yeah.
I
appreciate you coming back out.
For sure. So, Patrick Henry Ford, any relation?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that you're aware of? Okay. It's interesting. I was like, I wonder if they're all named Henry. Like, did the Fords name all their kids Henry? You lost like all the fun in this.
It's weird, right? Because it's Midwest. My grandfather was actually adopted, and I don't know what the deal is with him being Henry Ford. We've been a part of Chicago for a long time. My old man was at One North State for a long time, and my ma was a part of the Italian community, and I love when Italians come in here. Parlo italiano un pochino, right? Abbastanza, yeah.
That's how good my Spanish is, not my Italian.
Well, they're different languages, but they're really similar at the same time. Really different, really similar. I love Chicago.
You know what's interesting about Italian and Spanish is they sound the same. They're not the same, but if you hear someone speaking Italian, I can kind of sort of get what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
I'm
Hey,
happy
John,
to-
good to see you again.
Absolutely,
This was fun.
for sure.